Interview with Meter Salmons. I sat down across from Meter Salmons and hit record on my tape recorder. Across from me sat the last known living person born into slavery in all of Arkansas. Now, of course, he was a very old man, approaching 100 years old, but he still had all his faculties about him and was able to speak with the ease of a man half his age. Faculties, what does that mean? I think faculty means the power or an inherent mental or physical power. So let me write down this word because I think this is this is definitely a new word for me, and I need to absorb new things every day. So yeah, faculty. It means an inherent mental or physical power. Inherent mental physical power, mental or physical power. I held a microphone to my face and explained the project. I told him I was doing my doctoral dissertation on the effects of slavery on a person's psyche. Wait, psyche? I think it's psyche or something like that because it has an E at the end of the word. So yeah, psyche, the human soul or spirit. Psyche, spirit or soul. My research assistant and I had found his name in a record of the FWP. The Federal Writers Project was a New Deal project that, among other things, paid writers to collect stories from real Americans to be entered into the historical registry. 15 years before, in the height of the Great Depression, FWP workers had come and interviewed him for the historical record. I told him that I was more interested in talking to him about his life post-slavery than was in talking to him about his life as a slave. Then I added that I was especially interested in finding out what the lingering effects of slavery were. I held the microphone to his mouth, and he began to tell me about his childhood of working on a cotton plantation in Arkansas. He told me about the beatings he took as a child, about the days of back-breaking labor he did for the first 12 years of his life. Before talking to him, I knew how brutal slavery was. I knew it was an institution that was a blight on the otherwise glorious history of the United States, but I did not know how oppressive and awful it was for an actual slave. So what was oppressive means? Look up. Oppressive means unjustly inflicting hardship and constraint, especially on a minority or other subordinate group. When I asked him again about the lingering effects, he held up his hands. He showed me scars forged a century ago, in the darkest hours of America's past. He told me of his lifelong inability to trust whites and even lighter-skinned blacks due to the hierarchy that existed on the plantation he knew as a child. He told me about the experience of being told he was not equal every day of his life both before and after emancipation at the end of the Civil War. He talked to me for 4 hours before I finally stumbled out of his house, overwhelmed by what I had just heard. So, emancipation means the fact of possessing or being set free from legal, social, or political restrictions, liberation, like freeing some kind of slavery. Talking to Meter Salmons was the most illuminating research I ever did. I learned more sitting across from him in his living room than August Day in 950 than I did in the 10 years of reading secondary sources before in the lifetime historical research I've ever done since. The first and second paragraph primarily provided information about why the narrator is interviewing Meter Salmons and who Meter Salmons is. They have known each other. According to the passage, the narrator was primarily interested in researching post-slavery, then was talking to him historical record. History of the nope. History of slavery, nope. Segregation, the true experience of slave life on a slave psych. As used in paragraph 3, it can be inferred that the word blight most nearly belongs in which of the following word groups? A blight? Let me see. I don't know this word either, so yeah, blight means disease or affliction. Was uncertainty. I knew it. It is scratch, rock bottom, or scar. Okay. The fifth paragraph primarily suggests that the narrator went on to be a prominent historian. Thought was true. Doubted part of Miller Salmon's story. Prominent historian. Many subjects. Oh, primary sources can be more informative than secondary sources. According to the passage, what was the Federal Writers Project? It is a project that what historical preservation. Guys, I dropped to 9th grade. It is not good because I am trying my best to maintain a list in the 10th grade, but now for some reasons, for some silly mistakes, I dropped. And it literally sucks because now I have to try it all over again. And let's learn about the arrowheads. Okay, let's get started. I'm so excited, guys. Arrowheads, which are ancient hunting tools, are often themselves hunted for their interesting value. Posed as artifacts and as art. And wait, this literally cover my ad was inappropriate. Wait, it's literally okay. Some of the oldest arrowheads in the United States date back 12,000 years. They are not very difficult to find. You need only to walk down with downcast eyes in a field that has been recently tied for the spring planting season, and you might find one. Arrowheads are tiny stones or pieces of wood, bone, or metal which have been sharpened in order to create a tipped weapon used in hunting. The material is worn to an edge, usually in a triangular fashion, and is brought to a deadly tip. On the edge opposite the tip is a flat tail, though designs vary depending on the region, purpose, and the area of the arrow's head origin. The tails serve the same purpose. The tail of the arrowhead is meant to be trapped into a shaft, which is a straight wooden piece such as spear and an arrow. When combined, the arrowhead point and the shaft became a lethal weapon to be thrown by arm or shot with a bow at prey. Lethal, relating to death or something, I suggest, yup. Indian arrowheads are important artifacts that give archaeologists, studies who study past human societies, clues about the lives of Native Americans. By analyzing an arrowhead shape, they can determine the advancement of tool technologies among certain Native American groups. By determining the origin of the arrowhead material, bone, rock, wood, or metal, they can trace the patterns of travel and trade of the hunters. By examining the location of the arrowheads, archaeologists can map out hunting grounds and other social patterns. Arrowheads are commonly found along riverbanks or near creek beds because animals drawn to natural water sources to sustain life were regularly found drinking along the banks. For this reason, riverbeds were prime hunting ground for the Native Americans. Now, dry and active riverbeds are prime hunting ground for arrowhead collectors. Indian arrowheads are tiny pieces of history that fit in the palm of your hand. They're very diary entries in the life of a hunter. They are museum pieces that hide in the dirt. They're symbolic of the internal struggle between life and death. Wood, glass, bone, and stone. Like we have some kind of like materials that arrowheads were made from. Wood, bone, and metal. Wood, bone, and metal. Glass. We didn't have glass, right? Yeah, we didn't have glass. As used in the paragraph 2, which is the best antonym for owned? Maybe the H is, well, unpronounced, but I'm not sure. I'll check it out in the dictionary later. Is owned an edge? Flattened? I think this is for flattened, but let me see. It means sharpen, right? Sharpen. The antonym is blunt. Edge, make sharp. Put an edge on. Flattened. I think it's flattened. I'm so scared. It turns out to be chopped. Well, it's literally so weird. Okay, come on. Is it dulled? Is dulled, guys. Based on information in the passage, we can understand that which of the following subjects would not be something an archaeologist would study. Okay, here we have the definition of archaeologist, means scientists who study past human societies. Of fish, the materials used for clothing and shelter. D is correct. The effects of fish, of pollution caused by modern day cooperation. Nope. Which of the following statements best summarizes the main idea of paragraph 3? The author of this passage most interested in describing Native American foods and hunting techniques. Of the arrowhead. Okay, that's it for today's video, and goodbye.